Thank you very much. Peace and love, Helsinki. Yeah. Um, I was probably 6 or 7 years old, and the radio was always on in my house. I had four older sisters, so there was always music on, and of course, television, Ed Sullivan, and I was impressed by Elvis Presley, and so I would mimic as a 7 year old, singing nothing but a hound dog, playing air guitar, and singing. And my dad saw me doing that, and we had a routine every 2 weeks. We went to the barber shop. I got a brush cut, and he got a hairdo called the Princeton because it was just a little longer in front. But he'd have me get up, and he goes, Mike, sing nothing but a hound dog. And I would do that, and the barbershop guys that were waiting to get the haircut, they'd clap, and it was, yeah, I guess that's really how it started. Yeah. I grew up in a family of uh, five sisters, and my grandmother lived with us. So there were nine of us growing up, and it was just me and my dad. We were the only guys. We were drowning in a sea of estrogen, if you know what I mean. Anyway, uh, I saw the Beatles just like everyone else in America when they came to New York to be on the Ed Sullivan Show in 1964. Okay. And that's when everyone wanted to play guitar and drums and be in a band after that. They started, that was huge. And so after it might have been before she saw the Beatles because we heard them, on the radio. And she asked my mother one day if she could take me over to her girlfriend's house. Um, and they wanted me to play the drums, and they made cardboard guitars. And I went to the house. We went up into an attic room, and there were the record player with the Beatles' new album, their first album on it, and the girls um, had cardboard guitars, and they had all the pots and pans from the kitchen set up on a card table. And I was always getting in trouble for pounding on stuff. And this was the first time in my life, my short life at 10, that I was going to be able to pound on stuff and not get in trouble. It was a big deal for me. Okay. And I got to play, Ringo on that day. And so that was the beginning of the drumming thing. However, I did go on to I wanted guitar lessons. My parents got me guitar lessons, and through junior high, I played in a band. I played rhythm guitar, I played bass guitar, but it wasn't until 1979 that I decided I wanted to be a drummer, seriously, and it was due to Stuart Copeland, the drummer for the Police. The way he played drums, that's what pushed me over the edge to say, I want to be a drummer. I want to play like that. But always loving the Beatles and being in classic rock bands and Beatle bands over the years too as a drummer. Well, it wasn't a plan of mine. I didn't wake up one day and go, I want to be a Ringo Starr tribute artist. That never happened,
Mm.
you know. But I do believe that it's my whole life prepared me to do this and just do it naturally, you know. Um, how it happened was I had a friend of mine, a bass player, who had a couple sons that were younger, and we were all Beatle fans, and we met at a Beatle festival in Chicago almost 30 years ago. Okay, and I went to that Beatle fest, and I went, "Wow, this is so cool," you know. And I go, I'm never coming back to the Beatle Fest again without a band because they had a battle of the bands every Sunday night, at this Beatle festival. So for all those years, I played drums with. We changed our names over the year. You know, like we were the Bent Back Tulips one year from Glass Onion. So this one year we handpicked winners from past Beatle festivals that everyone knew, and they became my all-star band. And we did "Never Without You," um, the song that Mark Hudson and Ringo wrote for George after he passed away. And we won the event with that song, and the people loved the Ringer Star, and I thought, well, I'm going to go home now like I do every year and, cut my beard and let my hair grow. And I immediately got approached by a festival director from Arkansas, Beatles at the Ridge, it's called. And he came up to me as soon as I walked off stage and said, I need you in a few weeks down at my Beatle festival, and he says, you don't have to perform, just walk around and don't go out of character as Ringo Starr. So I did that, and it was pretty incredible because these people in this sleepy little town, they all thought I was Ringo. And it got really intense. I mean, it was the first time that I was followed and interviewed by the news, and he didn't want me to go out of character. People are having me sign their T-shirts and their arms and hands and pulling money out of their pocket. I had to draw the line. They were bringing me Beatle albums to sign, and it was overwhelming actually. But that promoter, Charles Snapp, great guy, he did say you should think about being a tribute artist at some point. And I thought about that. And the following year, me and my friend Ed Primo decided to make a website and some business cards. And our first trip was down to Abbey Road on the river in Louisville, Kentucky. And I went down there and walked around, took pictures with people. Everyone was pretty impressed with it. And then I walked around and asked bands, hey, do you mind if I sit in and play the drums, sing a song? And there were bands from all over the world down there, and they were happy to let me come up and sing a song or two. And I found out that there was a brochure there for the International Beatle Festival, and also Charles Rosenay, who does tours to London and Liverpool for the International Fest, called the Magical History Tour. And I thought, well, I need to go to that, go unannounced, and, well, had I not gone to Louisville, I wouldn't have found out about the International Fest or Charles Rosenay. So I followed up on that and hired a videographer to go with me and document the trip. And it was a two-week trip, a week in London. You see all the sites, where the Beatles live. We got to record in Abbey Road Studio 2, which was an incredible. The 70 of us on this trip got to sing All You Need Is Love and record it. And you can see that video on YouTube under Ringer Star. But, well, then the second week we go to Liverpool for the International Festival. And I did the same thing there as I did in Louisville, and asked bands if I could sit in or sing a song and play drums. And they did. And the festival directors found out, they heard rumor that there's this guy from America who looks like Ringo. He's the same size. He sings and plays the drums. And they immediately asked me to perform at the Liverpool Philharmonic for a George Harrison tribute night. And so I got to sing Never Without You again, okay, that I won back in Chicago, with that song. Well, little did I know that Mark Hudson was there. And I knew that Mark produced Ringo albums, but and there he is in Liverpool. And he's with Joey Mullen from Badfinger. So I agreed to do the song. I was the last artist of the night. The Hare Krishna people were there. I believe Mike McCartney was there, Paul's brother. So everyone thought Mark was going to do the song. And so Mark says, and ladies and gentlemen, Ringer Star. Well, I don't think most people heard Ringer. They heard Ringo. And of course, I walk out in a black suit and a white shirt, and the people, are they don't know what to think. And I did the song. I got a standing ovation, and and that's when my life changed. Once I walked off that stage, I had no idea that the promoters and festival directors from all over the world come to this international fest looking for new talent to bring to their country or city. And for the next 5 to 5.5, 6 years, I was traveling all over the world, 7 countries, multiple times. I mean, with great musicians. I ended up having, I think I have like 18 supporting all-star bands, from Peru, 5 bands in Brazil, Mexico City, Belgium, McDonald's Farm, from Scotland, a couple bands in well, 3 bands in Finland, you know. So it's been quite a journey, and in between, radio and television and newsprint interviews. So I never thought this would turn into this, and then come to find out, I looked to see who would be my competition, because there's so many John Lennon tribute artists, McCartney, Beatle band tribute artists, and I couldn't find another one on the planet, on the globe, of someone who's doing what I'm doing. So that just blew my mind, that I'm the only one. I feel like a chosen one, and that I'm, to be able to not only be a Beatle tribute artist, but to be Ringo and then be the only one is, I guess it was my destiny, without a doubt. I mean, and here I am, and it's still going on. I love it. So as you know, over the years with his all-star band, he's had great, great, popular, well-known rock and roll all-stars. And his current band, which is, I think this is maybe their 6th year or so, Ringo does a few songs when he comes out, then he goes up behind the drum kit, and they go around the band, like they start with, when Todd Rundgren was in the band, and he would do his 2 hits, a couple hits. They go to Steve Lukather, and he'd do some of the Toto songs that everyone knows. And so they go around the band. And I've always wanted to do that, but never had that luxury, so to speak, because typically the bands that supported me, these Beatle bands, would come out and do their set first, of what they do. And then I would come out and they'd be my supporting band. They would do my material, the Ringo material. Well, now, I have a band in Rochester, Minnesota, that is very close to Ringo's band. But when we did the concerts, I wasn't prepared to go around the band yet. So I've been doing that this year for the first time here in Detroit. And it's gone over really well, because we've handpicked some really good rockers from the 70s, and I've gotten incredible, everyone in the band is great in their own right, but I now have a keyboard player that just rips it up, and guitar players, both of them. So it's really the closest thing to a Ringo Starr show that you can see. Okay, and I plan on doing that with the Beat Brothers as well. Well, I spent one night in Helsinki once. I didn't get to see anything. My flight was canceled back to the U.S. when I played in Lapua, with the Beat Brothers the last time. So I've never been to Helsinki, and I heard it's a rockin' city. You know that anyone who is anyone, you know, whoever plays there or performs there, that's the city. You know, so I'm pretty excited about that. And of course, I'm sure there'll be people from Tampere that I know, friends there. Um, and you know, to get to see the Beat Brothers again, they're a great band. Always loved them, and um, you know, the festivals are so great, and it'll just be wonderful to come see everybody again and meet you in person. Thank you too for all you do. Seriously, you know, to have that kind of passion, you know, and to bring people together, you know, for peace and love and Beatles is just a beautiful thing. It doesn't get any better than that. You know, I've been to many Beatle festivals all over the world, and it's an atmosphere, and the energy is how you would love the rest of the world to be all the time. You know, I don't want to leave these festivals because of the positive and love filled energy there. And it's kind of a drag to come back to the real world, you know, with all the insaneness. Thank you very much. Peace and love, Helsinki.